Channel 4 Action News, and I'm Isabel Robleski.
And I'm Brittany Dean.
We have a special feature for you tonight to better educate our viewers on the world's history. We will go through European history times starting in 1300, going all the way to the 1800s.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy this feature.
We're going to start off in 1300 when the Little Ice Age occurred. The Little Ice Age was a period of colder climate and increased glaciation occurring between warmer periods in Europe in the 14th century. Ultimately, the Little Ice Age led to the Great Famine because of the toll that climate change took on agricultural production.
The Great Famine, a time where food was scarce, was one of the main causes of our next event, the Black Death. The Black Death first appeared around 1347. It quickly spread in Europe through rats that were transported by ships.
Sorry to interrupt you, but rats weren't the only reason that the plague spread so quickly. People in this time period were basically disgusting. They didn't know how to take care of themselves. It was not uncommon for 6 to 8 people to sleep in one bed in a middle-class family. Almost everyone had fleas or body lice, and to make matters worse, they dumped human waste on the street.
Ooh, you're right, that's awful. Not only did they have fleas, but they were dropping like them as well. The Black Death killed about 1/3 of Europe's total population. This is a staggering amount of people, which makes this disease one of the worst to have ever surfaced.
Alright, enough about this sad subject. Let's move on to brighter days in European history. The 1400s focused on the idea of humanism. Humanism was a program that emphasized the critical study of Latin and Greek literature with a goal of understanding human nature. Some of the most well-known humanists were Petrarch, Cicero, Erasmus, and Machiavelli. These humanists wanted to show and share with the world that human nature and achievements were worthy of contemplation.
So basically, before, people were focused all on God and pleasing Him, rather than doing what made them happy. But because of humanism, people focus more on themselves and try to become a better and more educated individual.
Exactly.
One of the main reasons that humanist ideas spread so quickly was because of the printing press. The printing press was developed by Johann Gutenberg in the 1440s. Before the printing press, everything had to be written by hand, and not everyone could get copies of an item. With the printing press, however, thousands of identical copies could be made and distributed in a very short period of time.
Because of the more opinionated ideas that were emerging, it affected people's views on religion as well. Martin Luther, one of the most important figures of the early Reformation, did not agree with the church's activities at the time. One of the biggest things he disagreed with was indulgences, which were documents issued by the Catholic Church. People bought these because they were told it would lessen their time spent in purgatory. In 1517, Luther wrote his 95 Theses on the power of indulgences. He argued that indulgences undermined the seriousness of the sacrament of penance, competed with the preaching of the gospel, and downplayed the importance of charity in Christian life.
Martin Luther's disagreement with the church sparked an emergence of many different viewpoints on religion. This led to the Reformation, which was a 16th century movement for the reform of abuses in the Roman Catholic Church, ending in the establishment of the Reformed and Protestant churches.
In the midst of the Reformation, a new revolution was emerging, called the Scientific Revolution. This scientific revolution was the emergence of modern science during the early modern period, when developments in mathematics, physics, astronomy, biology, and chemistry transformed the views of society and nature. The scientific revolution took place from the mid-1500s to the late 1600s. This revolution led to many new ideas and discoveries, such as Newton's law of universal gravitation. According to this law, every body in the universe attracts every other body in the universe in a precise mathematical relationship. Ideas like this led to the scientific revolution as well as the Enlightenment.
The Enlightenment, taking place from the late 1600s to the late 1700s, played a very large role in shaping the modern mind. This worldview grew out of a rich mix of diverse and often conflicting ideas. The new generation believed that the human mind was capable of making great progress. Some of the most well-known Enlightenment thinkers were Pierre Bayle, Thomas Hobbes, and John Locke. Enlightenment thinkers believed that their era had gone far beyond the antiquity and that intellectual progress was very possible.
For a long time in Europe, people farmed using the open field system, where each manor or village had 2 or 3 large fields, usually several hundred acres each, which were divided into many narrow strips of land. The strips were cultivated by individuals or peasant families. Soil exhaustion became a huge problem using this open field system because wheat was planted year after year and it depleted the nitrogen in the soil. The people during this time needed to find a way to fix this problem or they would eventually starve. They came up with a new way to farm, which was to alternate growing grain with growing land-reviving crops. They also came up with new organization patterns, which allowed some farmers to develop very sophisticated patterns of crop rotation. This period in Europe from the mid-17th century to the mid-19th century was called the Agricultural Revolution, and it greatly improved the agricultural process.
The The agricultural revolution played a large role in improving people's lives by providing more food for them and their families, and even an income for some. In the 18th century, more and more young people were able to choose partners for themselves rather than their families choosing them because of social or economic interests. Because of the breakdown of community controls in this time period, there was a sharp increase in out-of-wedlock births that occurred in Europe. This was known as the illegitimacy explosion. In Bordeaux, France, for example, 36% of all babies were being born out of wedlock by 1840.
Wow, that is a lot of babies.
Yes, Isabel, yes it is.
Well, that's all the time we have got for this special feature today. We hope you enjoyed it, and please feel free to contact us and give us your feedback of the show on Twitter at Channel 4 Action News Feature.
Hold on, we have a breaking news story that the headquarters said we have to inform the public about. A new plague has emerged and it's spreading fast. Here's the live footage we have.
We're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship.
Go. Hey. Norris, hit that whip. Oh, God. Look at the flick of that wrist. Look at the flick of that wrist. Look at the flick of that wrist. Look at the...
We have word that the kids are calling this whipping.
I guess you could say it's a new form of flagellants.
Well, that's all the time we've got for you tonight. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night. Oh, yes!